Welcome into Rover Sports, another edition here live for YouTube and Facebook. And today we are talking about the destination of one of the more talked about players in all of NFL football, and that's Tony Romo. And Matt, Tony Romo, kind of a tragic story these last couple of seasons. What do you think about the future of Tony Romo? Like, do you think he could still play at a high level?
I think he can play at a high level. He's the type of quarterback that he can be very shaky at times with his durability, and he's been very injury prone the past couple of years. And if you put him behind, a quick tempo offense, to be able to do that, on a constant basis, put him on a team that can be able to stride and make great success for him. Because I think Dallas, Dak is the man in Dallas, so I think he's going to have to go somewhere with a great offensive line, and a great run game to be able to complement him, and because his arm is definitely aging, and he's an aging quarterback as well.
I think so too. I mean, I even when Romo played, even when Romo was healthy, he never exactly had, that 50-yard quick strike capability. It was mostly him just hitting Witten. He would maybe lob it up to Des Bryant for 30-yard touchdowns, but he never was like a Joe Flacco, Aaron Rodgers type of deep ball thrower, and that's why I look at Dak Prescott as having a lot more promise than Tony Romo. And in the playoff, Shanko, if Dak Prescott comes out against the Giants or against the Packers and really struggles, do you think that there's any chance that they'd look to Tony Romo in relief?
I don't think so, because they've been preaching all year long. Jason Garrett and Jerry Jones have been saying they want to keep going with Dak Prescott, and this is his team. And the thing with Dak Prescott, he really is that quarterback for the future for Dallas. And with Romo getting hurt again, that just gave Dak another opportunity for him to make a statement, for him being that franchise centerpiece for the next 10 to 15 years. So I think they're going to let Dak learn, and even if he does struggle in the playoffs, because that's their future, I don't think they should go to a hurting Romo, because of the fact that it's Dak's team, and it's Dak's team to lose no matter what now, because he's played at such a high level this entire year.
When I look at Romo, there pretty much is only one destination that makes a lot of sense. And I know that Gary Kubiak just stepped down, but he's obviously worked the majority of his career with Wade Phillips. And I think that the Denver Broncos, you look at Von Miller, Elvis Dumervil, you look at the defense that they have, Brandon Marshall, Aqib Talib, they have a championship defense, and even with Trevor Siemian, they were still able to compete in a very tough AFC West. So Denver's in position to win now. When you look at the other landing spots, like you look at maybe a New York Jets or a Buffalo Bills or a San Francisco 49ers, these are teams where they're nowhere close to being able to compete. Like, it's just laughable to think.
Really?
Other than Denver, I think that Dallas might serve him the best, like in a backup role, because if he's not going to go somewhere where he can become a contender, I don't see the point in even trying to play.
Well, the thing is, with Romo being such that high-level competitor that he is for so many years, he's not going to take, a backseat again, because this year,
you're right. He'll probably end up leaving Dallas.
I think he should leave Dallas, because I think he has the potential to be, that average to above average type of quarterback. Maybe, on the likes of better lines of Andy Dalton or Ryan Tannehill, somebody who has more experience like Romo, and somebody who he needs the supporting cast, because he's not the Aaron Rodgers anymore like he used to, because his arm is, deflating, and it's not the same as it used to.
He's just shattered. He's just like a shell of him.
He needs to go to a team like we've been talking about, is the Broncos, or either I don't wish he doesn't go to the Jets or the Browns or any other team, because I think he needs to go to a Super Bowl contender, because he still wants to win that chip. And he
certainly
he has
can win that championship if he's in the right system. He can have
Sure.
another good 2 years of his career to play at a high level. I really do think that.
He's
like
played
Peyton Manning.
He's played at such a high level for so long, and to be able to have sit back and not being able to do that now anymore. I mean, you can compare him to. I mean, there's a lot of quarterbacks out there who started out so well. Like, look at Mark Sanchez. He did so well for so long for the Jets and got them to 2 straight AFC championship games. And, what happened there is, Mark Sanchez regressed as a quarterback. And I think Romo is just one of those injury-prone, regress type of quarterbacks. And he's only good, only for a short period of time because he has a small window left. Because he's going to be retiring soon, and he doesn't have the same oomph like he used to. Well, in 2007.
I think that Romo was still such a prominent quarterback for a long time, and I just never thought that he had a championship defense. The Dallas has never had a juggernaut at defense. They never would address that side of the ball. They'd always go offensive line heavy, and then the year when they have DeMarco Murray and they had to go play Green Bay. And it was the Dez Bryant game where it could have been a catch. It should have been called a catch. Did he catch it or not? That year they already beat Seattle. That was really a heartbreaking loss for Tony Romo. But even you look at his tenure, and even when they lost to the Vikings, he didn't have a championship defense around him. Mm-hmm. So he was always a solid player. He was always putting Dallas in position to make the playoffs. But then every year, they would always fall short, whether it be in Week 17 games for the NFC's championships. They'd lose to the Redskins, or they'd lose to the Giants, and he'd throw interceptions at the end of games. So Romo, I think, will be remembered as a very solid to very productive player, but never had a championship defense. And when he had opportunities on the biggest stage, he wasn't elite. But I just think that Jerry Jones in that franchise, they never had the structure defensively to give Tony that opportunity to win a championship.
And with that being said, with Tony Romo, he didn't have the opportunities to succeed and win because he did have the opportunities in 2007 when he went 13-3, number one seed
with T.O.
and with the Terrell Owens and of the world. And now when you look at that, I mean, Tony Romo had the opportunity with the bobbled snap in 2007 against Seattle in that wild card game, and then in the next years.
But still not like...
He had the opportunities.
He never held them back. He propelled.
He
but
wasn't
like an Alex Smith holding back. He wasn't like a Matt Schaub where they had everything and Matt Schaub would hold you back.
But the big thing is he could never get the team over the hump, and I think when you look at a new blood in there that they desperately needed in Dak Prescott, somebody who has more upside than Tony Romo ever did have, because Dak's got the arm, he's got the touch, he's got the mobility, and Romo now he's 35, 36. He's not the same player as he used to be, but I think when we look at this perspective-wise,
it's a little early to say that about Dak. I mean, Dak's had a season like Roberts had, like Cam Newton's had. And I think Romo still had a ton of success, still a ton of upside, but he never went up and beyond. And I just think a lot of it is due to defense, is due to the defensive line playing elite. Even look at Tom Brady's teams. When they get to the AFC Championship, they'll run the ball like 30 times and rely on defense. Dallas has never had multiple ways to win games.
Romo had all the opportunities in the world when Jerry Jones put in that really great offensive line, and he didn't really have that great runner either before. He always had
like Marion Barber, Felix Jones.
Yeah, nothing like an Ezekiel Elliott type of oomph that helped him to propel, because you need a great run game.
He had DeMarco for
to help
a
the
couple
pass.
Of years, yeah.
But
overall, we agree that Tony, he shouldn't be back in Dallas. If I were Tony, I'd rather go to Buffalo than be a backup, because then you're going to rot out. the rest of your career.
He's starting to rot out now. I mean, look what he's not really the same player. I know he threw a touchdown pass the other day
against the
Eagles,
change of scenery because Dak's not looking back.
Not at all. I mean,
if you stay in Dallas and still hope to be a backup and magically Dak gets hurt and you're inserted into the lineup, that's not the way to go.
Real quick, what's your prediction? Where he's going and why? Go.
Denver. He's going to Denver. They already did the Peyton Manning experience. You're going to have Kyle Shanahan. John Elway knows how to recruit these quarterbacks. Denver for sure. And if not Denver, I'll be very surprised. He'll probably be going to like Buffalo.
You are going to be surprised because he's going to go to the San Francisco 49ers because I think Jed York has had enough of these mediocre type of quarterbacks with Colin Kaepernick and Blaine Gabbert. He's had enough of that, and he wants to bring in a experienced quarterback who can bring these guys, back to the great times that they used to a couple years ago when they had Alex Smith and Colin Kaepernick was playing at a high level. And I think with Romo there, they can definitely bring back an excitement to that franchise and bringing a nice quarterback, coach to help Tony Romo in his later years. Just like the similar times when Peyton Manning had the offensive coordinator for the Colts. I can't remember his name, but he had a bald head. But
not Caldwell, not Cooter, Jim Bob Cooter.
Might have been Jim Bob Cooter. Somebody that could help mentor Romo to be able to make that quick, 1-2 pass, like 5-step drop, getting the ball back easily. So I think my prediction right there is the 49ers.
Okay. Alrighty, guys. Thanks for joining in. Leave comments. Where do you think Romo will go? And time will tell. Thanks, Matt, for hopping in.